So, welcome everyone. This is the sixth webinar of the third phase of transition circle reenergization of trainings. And we are now starting another phase in the end of this webinar. That's get the trainers together to learn together in a community of practice. So we are supposed to have more webinars, and we will let you know. But today is our last one for this phase, and we will have Melissa Viva from Brazil. She is the co-founder of Economies Brazil and the founder of Economies Rio, and she's a social entrepreneur that works to help business to redesign their ways of doing business in far from business as usual. She used to say that we are living from business as usual to business as caring. I love that. And we have Jay Tomt. He is co-founder of the Totnes Economy Center. He is a lecturer in economics at Plymouth University. And we that study economy, we know him very well because he started the papers and the material with other people from Totnes, and we used to learn with him. So we are supposed to start with Jay, and then Melissa will tell something to us. Jay, can you share it?
Okay, hello everyone. I think I have 10 minutes.
Yes.
That's not very much time.
No, I'm sorry.
This is a huge topic, but I was asked to share something about my experience with Reconomy in the workshop that I have led many times for the past many years. So I'm going to try to do it. 10 minutes isn't very much time, so it's going to be, you know, it's going to lead to more questions for sure. So I'll share my screen and let's see. I'm going to try to manage a few different PDFs. I've got a lot of words and some pictures to share. And I'll try to keep it to 10 minutes, but this is me basically. If you want to reach me later, these are my coordinates here. So essentially in 10 minutes, I'm going to try to cover like why and how. The format of this 2-day course that I co-developed and have been developing over the last few years, and then maybe some of the outcomes that have come from that, although that's been hard to measure. So really, you know, why? Well, I think if you have been involved in transition for a while, you should have, in my opinion, you should have come to the conclusion that all of our problems are a result of the kind of economic system that we have. And so the solutions are to be found in shifting the economy in some way. And we've had some, there's lots more to that story, obviously. Part of the solution is decentralization, relocalization, more regenerative ways of meeting our needs. And so we've had some good success in the things that we've done in Totnes and have been doing in that regard. So I'm going to share a little bit about that kind of experience. So I mentioned relocalization. If you have experience with permaculture or you've been around transition for a long time, very often the kind of economic change that we talk about is talked about in those terms: localization, relocalization, but there are many ways to talk about these kinds of changes that we'd like to see. And there are lots of sources from which we can learn. So solidarity economy, the degrowth movement, sustainable development, and so on. So for us, we've tried to simplify what we're trying to achieve in this way. So we're looking for an economy that is fair and inclusive, ecologically wise, socially thriving, resilient and adaptive, and maybe bioregional. If that's an interesting concept for you, it certainly fits. This is a nice picture from one of our events. And so we want to think in terms of systems, we want to think holistically. And so this kind of question is a really great way to organize our thoughts. So we're trying to create the conditions for new economic actors, new economic relationships, new economic models to emerge and flourish. This is how we have been trying to go about the changes that we're interested in doing. And so you can think of it in gardening terms. So preparing the soil, we want to have fertile soil to plant our seeds in, and nurture the things that grow and develop a kind of ecosystem. So in Totnes, we've been thinking in this way. So using the insights from systems thinking, complexity, network theory, and so on, and trying to catalyze a new kind of entrepreneurial culture, a transition-oriented one, a problem-solving oriented one. We want to mobilize the resources that we have locally. And we want to build out the structures and relationships and networks that can support these things, an enterprising ecosystem. And of course, we want to weave networks. This is a list of all the things that we've been doing in that regard, lots of different kinds of projects. And we've learned a lot of lessons. So one is that participatory methods really work. And convergence events that draw in diversity of people from all over is really a good thing to do. It provides a way to share know-how. So know-how isn't quite like knowledge. Knowledge is disembodied. Know-how is embodied. So know-how is how we know how to do stuff. If we want to build a new kind of economy, we have to know how to do that. We are also interested in, some of these other things, including innovation and networks, and this is what we've learned in our work. So if we want to make these changes happen, we have to be able to share this knowledge and help train up other people. And so this is what we tried to do with our workshop. I co-developed the original iteration of this workshop with Inez Aponte, who some of you might know, and I've been developing it ever since. It's really kind of aimed at people who will go out and do stuff. So it's about getting some theory, but also getting some practice and some practice with the tools, or some tools that can be useful. There's more than one way to do any of this stuff, but it helps to have some theory along with some practical know-how. If you don't have this theory, then your know-how is not very effective, and vice versa. So this lecture, or this kind of training, includes a little bit of lecture, a little bit of working in groups, some experiential activities, and other kinds of activities and games to kind of bond the group. So ideally, I think ideally, this kind of workshop has worked best in a 2-day kind of residential scenario, just because of the bonding and because some of the information is dense. It's good to have some time and space for people to, let those ideas sink in and talk with each other about them. But it can be split over multiple days, and I've tried that too. But I think what works best is if it's more concentrated. So this is the flow of the workshop. So hopefully this is going to be clear to you. I'll do my best. I'm going to have to go over 10 minutes. I'm sorry, you guys. So it starts with a kind of like getting to know who's in the room. So probably you're familiar with constellations, working with people in a room, like here we are. If you're from the north, if you're from the south, et cetera, you move people around and get people warmed up. We do this, the Wilbur quadrants. We use that as a way to unpack our assumptions about how the economy works. So if we want people to be thinking in terms of systems and complexity and relocalization and decentralization, well, people come already with a lot of assumptions from the neoliberal, neoclassical dominant paradigm that they may not even be aware of. For example, people are naturally greedy. People always want the lowest price. Well, these aren't necessarily true, even though these are dominant stories. So we use the Wilbur quadrant diagram, the individual inner experience, the individual outer experience. You guys know this, right? So it's a good way to unpack the stories. And then we introduce some of Manfred Max Neef's work. So some of you will know Manfred Max Neef. To me, this is really useful for many reasons, which I can get into later. But we do some interesting things here to explain how this model works. It's a great replacement for Homo economicus or Maslow's pyramid, and provides us a new language to talk about needs and wants and desires and how we satisfy them. And it really sets up a good way to talk about alternatives to products and services and consumption. We'll do something using asset-based community development, or ABCD, or dragon dreaming, as a way to kind of share how people can work together and learn about each other in the context of building a team or a bigger community kind of intervention. We do lots of mapping. So getting people to map their visions of how they'd like their place to be, identifying what the seeds are for further transformation, and also maybe mapping some networks. If you guys are familiar with 3 horizons, this is like a better way to do it. And there's all kinds of really good reasons for doing mapping. We unpack some network theory, and especially the strength of weak ties, and getting into that. That's I can say more about it.
It's okay. You can go on, Jay. We have some more minutes. Go on.
Okay, I'm just trying to turn my timer off. It's and then we look at some examples. So because I'm from Totnes, I use examples of the kinds of things that we've done in Totnes. There are other examples too, but the kinds of things I've listed here are the kinds of things that I think people who want to do Reconomy in their places can do, that work at a systems level, not just a project level. We also talk about the local multiplier and why, if we keep money circulating locally longer, that's better economically. And then we do a design charrette activity. And a design charrette activity is really just doing design under pressure. And some of you might know a little bit about this. And it works really well. It really works really well. So I'm just gonna, let's see, I'm just gonna show some pictures real quick. Let's see. So here's some pictures of some of the Manfred Max Neef. So Manfred Max Neef has this model of fundamental human needs. And what I like to do is to use products to get people in small groups to unpack, well, the Kit Kat bar, is this meeting your needs? And whose needs is it meeting, and is it doing a good job? Or This is like a dry, this is hairspray. I'll use a newspaper and other artifacts. Provides a nice opportunity to talk about needs and what is provided by our current economic system. And then this is something that Inez designed. We then ask people to say, well, what do you need to thrive in your life? And you write them down on a Post-it, and then you put them up on the different needs categories, and then we talk about the needs and kind of unpack the concepts. So this is what it looks like. It's aesthetically very pleasing, and people really like this activity. So this was, we've done this all over, so it works cross-culturally too. This was in Athens. This is in South Tyrol. And we did this on the floor because we didn't have a good wall, but it still works. And then, let's see. Give me 1 second here. So the mapping, so this is kind of what the mapping looks like. So this is at a workshop in Portugal. People were working outside together, working on their maps. It's really important to get people working together. You guys will know this. And just what some of the maps look like. They all look the same. You know, we all know what we want. But they're pretty. And then we can use these maps to identify the seeds. Okay, so if you want to create a school, what are the seeds that exist now that you can identify that could become this school? Like, is there an empty building that you know of? Or some people who want to do a school or whatever. And then we have the groups present. And so that's what this is. And then I just have a few more pictures to show. This is just another little warm-up activity, getting people to kind of put where they are on the map. This is this ABCD activity. We ask people to write down something they love to do, they're really good at, and something they'd like to learn. And then those are these columns, and these are people's names. And you can sort of match up. Well, you really want to learn guitar, Laura, and it looks like Georgia really loves to play guitar. Great. So this is how ABCD works in a very, very brief kind of nutshell. Something we do with the local multiplier is just kind of do some accounting and demonstrate we can make this a game with people in the room. This is just how I explain doing the design charrette. So it's just a few different chunks of activity, very, very pressurized. People come up with a great idea like this, and oopsie, and then share the idea. Yeah, so the last part was the outcomes. So really hard to measure the outcomes. We've done this workshop, or I've done it many, many times. And I know that it helped to spark Economy in Japan, some projects in Fujino and Isumi. It's helped groups in Marbella and Spain and other places, but haven't really measured it. So I don't really know. So sorry, I took a little bit too much time.
No, it was great, Jay. We have so many questions. You want to listen more, so I think on the questions we'll have this time to ask you some questions, right? So, Melissa.
Hello, everybody. Let me see here. Well, I'm going to share with you a little bit of our experience with the first local entrepreneur forum in Rio de Janeiro, and a little bit of our journey and why we decided to do that. Let me see here. Well, why we decided to promote a local entrepreneur forum? Well, here our transition initiative called Terra was created as a network organization of local entrepreneurs in the neighborhood of Laranjeiras and Cosme Velho. It's a neighborhood with around 60,000 people. And we decided to organize our initiative with this purpose, Terra, with this purpose of taking care of life itself through a new conscious of living and how to do the business and to do local business. We use it to be together, to use and share this beautiful 1800 house. And I just saw that Hiki is here too, and we were together in this project. And Terra was a project that took place for almost 2 years. And with the pandemic, we ended the house, but we are still working as a network. And when we got together, we understood that we would like to, as entrepreneurs, we would like to do things differently. So we chose different tools and to work just as governance tools, and the way that we would be together in, deeping going into our relationships, and how we would go through our economic relations. So we decided that we would like, hold on a second, I think I should be here to be better. Okay. So we chose to use Fluxonomy 4D as a methodology. I don't know if you guys have heard about Fluxonomy 4D, but it was created by a Brazilian futurist. She calls Lala Denzenlin, and she designed the fluxonomy so we could have a kind of board to look to our resources with 4 different lens, what she calls dimensions. So we decided to use fluxonomy at Terra, and all our economic relations were related to fluxonomy. And what she did is she created these 4 dimensions. And the first dimension, this one here in yellow, it's called the cultural dimension, is where resides the creative economy. Everything about our know-hows and about our capacities, abilities, ideas, it's over here. And the second dimension, it's about the environmental dimensions, everything that that's about equipment, things that we can share, is where resides the sharing economy. And the third dimension is the collaborative dimension, where resides the collaborative economics. And here it's about all our network and our social relations. And the 4 dimensions, the multi-value dimensions, about all the currencies and our time. So all our investigation at Terra was about this. And we decided, because of our investigation, we decided that it was time to us to experience a local currency, a cryptocurrency. And then I got a little bit closer to the Reconomy practitioners in 2018. And all this system of Terra was growing. And we started to understand how could we not only be doing business together at the system, at the little system of Terra, but how could we know a little bit more about the entrepreneurs in the territory? So I talked to Jay in 2019, me and Rick by that time, and we talk about the possibility of holding a local entrepreneur forum in Rio de Janeiro, so we could get together with other entrepreneurs and get to know what other initiatives were here, and how could we get together to potentialize and strengthen our relations. So that's what we did. And the first thing was how could we find those entrepreneurs and find those for the investors, the people who would like to invest in those entrepreneurs here at the territory, and how could we strengthen all this potential of the territory. So we designed a project, Jay helped us, and we started to present to the community the project. So here's some pictures of our meetings. This was a little bit before the pandemic. So we had the opportunity to have presential meetings by that time. And we showed people, and we were trying to find who were those entrepreneurs and who were those investors. And when the pandemic came, we redesigned all the journey. So to a virtual way of doing it. So what we decided was to do this step by step. We had these meetings that were, they started to be on virtual ways. And the first step was the call. So it was the moment where we were presenting the project and talking about concepts and what was relocalization and what was resilient economy and regenerative. And then we had another movement that we call mapping resources. So people would learn how to understand the resources they have in abundance. They already have in abundance by the 4D lens. And then people were understanding how they have a lot of potential to be investors or even to be entrepreneurs, if these were their choices. And then we had another part of the journey that was dedicated to entrepreneurs and investors who wanted to go deeper in the concepts. We had like 8 meetings for what we call the workshop of learning journey. It was a startup your regenerative dream. How could we redesign a business through those lens and concepts of regenerative economy and relocalized economy? And then we have this very, very nice meeting that we called Territory Potential. And we have some partners that were together with us, bringing some data about the territory. And lots of ideas got together, and we I don't know the word, I'm sorry, but we had a kind of a system to get all those informations, to keep all those information, so we could use, as we are doing right now this year. And after that, we had the pitch. Those entrepreneurs who felt they were ready to resign their projects and their business through these new concepts, they participated of this pitch, and 3 of them were selected to the forum that was held online too. And right now we are doing this, the monitoring support on the process of investing in the projects. This is a little bit of our communications, the Instagram and the lives we had, and people who participated of the project. Here we have Isa and Renatinha. These are the faces of the entrepreneurs who participated of the process. Very powerful people here at the neighborhood. And these 4 people here in the middle, the 3 circles, are the ones that are still on the process with us. When I say us, it's me, Vilma, and Lucas. We are a core group of the big network of Terra, who are, monitoring the process with them and then their investors. And there's a little bit of the structure of the forum. This is a picture of our meetings, our current meetings. And the forum itself, it was designed for the first beginning to be presential. And then we had to redesign for a virtual process. So we had 5 days of Reconomy dialogues. And Jay was opening the process with us, bringing a little bit of how it started, the Reconomy movement. Monica and Nisa, they brought a lot of their experience about the transition economies here in Brazil and the experience and cases we have. And Henrique, he started a business called Cuidadoria, and he brought his experience about Cuidadoria. It's in English would be something like a company who cares of. The name is tricky in Portuguese. And Thaisa Montebella, she's starting a network of compassion economy. It's amazing the journey she's taking. And Roberta Salles, she's a psychologist who brought some experience for the group to look for what we have to move inside of each one of us to take the first steps, you know, to move in a different direction. And then we have the match day, the day that the entrepreneurs and investors in 4D were like getting together and the magic started. I think that's it. I try to keep the time. Very hard.
Thank you. It's hard, really. Thank you very much, Melissa. And now I think we can have a round of clarification questions. What do you think? Can we have some, if you have any question or clarification questions about the presentations? Yes. Did you listen to me? Yes.
Yeah. And you could just raise your hand and
yes.
Unmute
or
yourself.
right there, or right on the chat, right?
Yep.
No one? No clarification questions? Well, if we don't have clarification questions,
I do have one.
go on, Zaida.
Hello. I don't know if it's a clarification question, but I would like to hear from Jay, maybe, or Melissa, how their both actions come along together, or how different they are, and or how they complement each other. So just because with this presentation was, and because I'm not so deep into Reeconomy, I was wondering how, you know, I would like to hear some words related to that, if it makes sense to you guys.
Oh, Jay.
I guess the relationship is that probably both of our activities in this regard have been about building capacity and bringing people on a ride. I think the workshop that we developed was more general. So not trying to mobilize a specific group of people to take steps together towards something, but rather to give people the tools so that they could do something in their own community, maybe like what Melissa has done. But Melissa, your approach and what you've done is really amazing. So probably nobody could do it like you, but there might be people who would like to try.
Yes. Thank you.
I think I have a question too. I'd like to understand a little bit of how can one business help another business to create this ecosystem to make this everybody in the local place flourish. How do you think they can start?
Is that a question for Melissa?
For you both.
Well, I can say what I think, but I think this is exactly the point that is challenging, because we were created, we were raised to be competitive and to be separated and to understand the other person as a kind of I don't know, something that I should be afraid. So we have to redesign all our system, our inner system, to be able to be together and to trust, and just trust, and want to be together and do something different, without any attachment or to what will be the result. But I want to focus on the process of being together and build something different. I think that would be the point, right now. And I think we are all learning how to do this. And I want to celebrate a lot the presence of Ricky here, Ricardo. He is a very, very important part of this process with Reconomy here in Brazil too.
May I
Thank you,
ask
Melissa.
a question to Melissa? Melissa,
Yes.
I would like to know the results that you got when you put together the investors and the the entrepreneurs. What kind of result did you get? This is something that I was trying to figure out. Did it work out? Did you get good results?
We are still looking for it, because we just got out from the process of Reconomy 2020 by the end of November. So right now we are on the move of monitoring, because we understood that everything is too new. All the concepts are too new to everybody, to investors, to entrepreneurs. These things of investing different resources, not only financial resources, but different resources, knowledge, know-how, time, to the entrepreneurs. This is a lot of new stuff for everybody. So we should be together and help each other to understand how this journey will be. So by the end of this year, I think I can have an answer more like precise.
Okay.
Silvana has a question.
Yes, thank you. Melissa, I don't know if I miss it or you mentioned the process to find like align investors with interest in this and regenerative entrepreneurs, like.
Okay, that was very fast. Okay, let me tell you. What we did is we started to present the project to the community. And by the beginning of the process, we were expecting to have presential meetings, lots of presential meetings in different places at the community, so we could talk to people about the idea. Everything was very new. So, but with the pandemic, we had to change this strategy to a virtual strategy. And we started to use lots of social medias to call people to, you know about Reconomy? Are you interested in understand how can you be a 4D investor? Oh, you don't know what it is, a 4D investor? Or come to our meeting and we are going to be talking about this. So people started to come to the meetings to understand what it was. So it took us around 5 months only doing this. Meetings and lives and talking about the concepts, So by the end of these 5 months, people were starting to subscribe in the website we have as an entrepreneur or as a 4D investor or as both. So we had both of them, I don't know if I could answer exactly what you said, you asked.
Yeah, kind of, yes, a little bit, but I thought that there was maybe not only the website. There was like another strategy to find investors.
No, we were
Interested.
only on the media, social media, talking about the process with
Wow.
people, you know, and so people were, and we got investors from other states. We were expecting to have investors only on the community, but because of the pandemic and our strategy went to social media, we had investors from the south of Brazil. And we didn't know exactly what to do with this, but we were like, okay, you want to come?
Yeah. I think Jay want to say something. He put his hand up.
Well, there are a few points that I could chip in on. I think, you know, being outside of your experience, Melissa, in Rio, I can see patterns that we could explain in other ways. So I think one of the things that's key is engaging people. So building relationships and building, you know, a network, and having people get excited about something and building, you know, trust and that kind of thing. So this is creating fertile soil. But also it's about instilling in these relationships the idea that things could be different, that we can go about things in a different way. And that includes redefining what it means to be an entrepreneur and redefining what it means to be an investor. So I don't know if you did it this way, Melissa, but the thing that we do when we do the local entrepreneur forum is we have people invest things like money, but also expertise, but also hugs and food and cakes. So everyone can play that role, and that also helps to create the culture change and the cultural shift. And so I think those are really important parts of the story, and that fits with the wider transition narrative as well. And that goes to some way to answering your question, as Monica earlier, about why would a business be interested in looking at the ecosystem. So if it's about engaging people at that human level and the common, the common good and our common interest, then we know we need to work systemically. And for some businesses, they will want to collaborate in that kind of way. And for other, and there's room for other roles too. So for example, the role that Melissa has played and I have played and other people is sort of the meta entrepreneur. So creating the conditions, which takes a different kind of investment again. Anyway, I just wanted to say those.
Well, I know. Oh, okay, Rafaela, go on. The last question for now.
Sorry, just last question. I would like to ask Melissa which kind of entrepreneur she found. I mean, which kind of different economy system she found, if possible.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, here at Laranjeiras in Cosme Velho, we just discover how rich we are here. And the three entrepreneurs who are right now with a group of investors for each enterprise, they're very, very different between themselves. One, it's a digital platform that connects the neighborhood and all the richness in the neighborhood, the cultural richness, the business, the economy business, the different projects, the innovation. This is a platform that already exists, and she was redesigning her business. And the other girl, she was starting a business with a fashion business with reused clothes and materials. So the clothes that were already, circulating, she would redesign those clothes, and she's capacitating ladies from a community in the neighborhood, ladies from a very vulnerable social situation right now, and people that want to get new capacities, to develop new capacities. So she's doing that. And the third enterprise, how we call jaca in English, people? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Somebody knows how to call jaca, the fruit. These people, hold on a second. I'm going to ask Google.
Is it jackfruit?
Jackfruit, yes, jackfruit. And what they do, the jackfruit in Brazil, it's considering a kind of pledge. It's pledge. How we call that? Pledge. Yes, I'm right. It's considering something that we should stop growing. Invasive. Thank you, Barbara. And what they are doing is to show all the nutrition value of the jaca and the jackfruit, and they are moving their business through some different approach. One is educational approach, one is nutritional approach, and one is mobilizing collectives through the idea of distributing the jackfruit that is already there, that is already, available in the community, and we have a lot. And they are moving gastronomy process. They have one project inside the project for putting the jackfruit in the school lunch in the municipality. So it's a very, very strong project, and the one that I am monitoring right now.
Amazing. Well, now we will have time for more questions and for more talk, but now I propose for you a bio break. So a 5 minutes bio break, and then we can go to breakout rooms to speak and harvesting a little bit of what we listen here. And then we come back to share a little bit more and ask questions or something like that, okay?
And invite each group to report back on what you talked about. So maybe just some of the key points. We have maybe 15 minutes for this, and we have 5 groups, so maybe 2 to 3 minutes per group. What was most meaningful from your group's conversation? And I think I'll just go in order of the number of the breakout rooms, if that's okay. So we had room 1 was Barbara, Marissa, and Jay. So is there somebody from group 1 who could speak to your conversation?
Can you do it, Marissa?
Okay. I think the nice nugget for me from Jay was about the things that help entrepreneurs most are the things you find in places with a lot of entrepreneurs. Networking, obviously workshops, but the hackathon idea was something that I think will be really useful for me personally in my business. And then a couple other models we talked about were community development corporations and community land trusts and what the different flavors of those are. And I was also happy to learn Jay is interested in doing online workshops and consulting. So thank you.
Thank you. And just want to remind everybody to speak a little bit slowly. Fran is doing the Spanish translation, and you can find that through the interpretation button in your main toolbar, if you like that. Anybody else from group one want to add anything to Marissa's concise summary?
It's very interesting to know people are, you know, doing things similar that we're doing and ideas that can help just get us going. It was nice to hear. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Okay, so we can move on to group two. We had Rafaela and Nick.
Would you like to speak, Rafaela?
Okay, I speak and then you can. So both myself and Nick, we weren't not involved in Reeconomy really, but we were talking about some ideas that we had. So I'm involved in a group, in Transition Town group here in Kinsale in Ireland, and I just joined last year, so unfortunately with COVID and everything, we couldn't really, I mean, there are projects that were already going on and people are doing, but so we were just talking about, you know, ideas that might be connected with the Reeconomy, and that's it. And we were just wondering as well, Jay and Melissa were talking about, you know, the entrepreneurs and what's the other end? Oh my God, I don't have the word. The investors. So we were thinking what, because you were saying we were a bit puzzled about the meaning, the new meaning of investors, because you were saying that it's not only, if we understood well, it's not only a financial investor, but it's also someone that can share his know-how or his time. So I'm thinking it's more like a support that they can do to the new entrepreneur, I think. So maybe, I don't know if they can clarify that, it would be great. Thanks very much.
Great. Yeah, let's definitely return to that question after we've heard from each of the groups. But I think that's a great one, broadening this definition of investor. All right, thank you very much, Rafaela. Let's now go to group three. We had Gabriela, Angelica, and Melissa.
Want to speak, Gabby, or want?
Okay, I will speak and you could complete, please. First of all, I would like to thank Melissa and Jay for sharing this subject for us. Economy is so important, and so it's a subject that we don't speak with frequency. Even I know the economy real with Melissa. We talking with Angelica, who is part of the Hub Brazil too. And we share new ideas talking with this, since living this subject. So we're talking about a way we could help to support entrepreneurs in your local communities. Is doing a community mobilization. Go where the meetings happen in the neighborhood, in community centers and talking groups of friends where people eat and meet each other on the neighborhood, and start with the relationship in the neighbor and bring the people to the problem. We believe that when the people are in the problem, we could, okay, I bring you to the problem, and now we could be talking about the necessities of the new economy, because the business as usual, it's impossible to keep going. Let's think together and rescue the process economy beginning in the relationships and the necessity to change the model of the business as usual. And it's like get out of the place that the business as usual has to developing new things and new demandas. I don't know how to say this word, demandas in English, but new things.
Demands.
Creating new demands that not exist, that and not even a real necessity, and co-create demands to regenerate the holes in the system that already exists. We think that it's about this, the economy. And we believe that, okay, the people are the problem. Now we could talk about what is economy. We really believe that it's a step back to bring the people to the problem. And another way, okay, the people of the neighborhood are in the problem. It's agreed that the problem exists. How we could discuss how to build network and projects that boundaries and could co-collaborate with each others locally. And the new idea that come that we need a slow marketing to the business as carrying. Because the marketing as usual, it's based on that missing. So we have experiencing in our place here in Brazil. We have a project that Melissa said, Economy Rio, the neighbors of Laranjeira, Cosme Velho, the business model canvas for economy. It's another project in Transition Brazil, and also the local group that Angélica has been part, that Transition Granja Viana, the same group that Isa. So I think that's it. Okay, Melissa, do you want to add something?
No, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, group 4, we have Zaida, Eduardo, Isabella, and Ricardo. And who would like to speak for group 4?
Go, Ricardo, I can complete.
Okay. We started talking about the experience in Terra. I was with Melissa, and also about the Granja Viana, from one experience from Isabella. From Granja Viana, maybe you should talk, Isabella, and Terra, Melissa already did. And then we talk about the next topic.
Yeah. I just told them about my experience. We created a market, an eco market, and we gather all local entrepreneurs, and it comes all kinds of companies. You have the people that do bread, do honey, the other that do paintings and NGOs. We all participate in a very eco market meeting every Sunday. And I talked about my experience, that I was saved by the economy. I was able to support myself during the pandemic, selling my kombucha. That idea was born in 2012 in the London conference. And I said, I'm not a producer. I am only a consumer. I want to produce something. And then the universe sent me an amazing idea and I am a very good kombucha maker. So now I sell 160 kombuchas per week, and I am supporting myself.
Nice.
And our group went on fire, and now we will have a TV and a national local entrepreneur forum that Melissa will hold. And Jay will do the opening. We need to spread the word. We need to make people to get in touch with the producer they have inside them, and to understand that you can have a rich community if people are producing and exchanging, selling. imagine I exchange kombucha for a kombucha session. I exchange kombucha with everything. So this was my messy message. Ricardo, please put this in.
Okay. Zaida, I remember Zaida brought some exciting words and optimistic. Do you want to add a word, Zaida?
Yes, what I would like to do, let me ask for silence here. Só pouquinho, gente, eu vou só falar minutinho, tá? I would like to say that, first of all, I sat through, especially during this conversation, even though this has been my thought, that we are not trying to adapt because we cannot be presential. We are absolutely going to the new spectrum of expansion through virtual. So this is the first thing we need to know. We are giving this gift. It's a gift to go virtual. So that's the first step. I'm gonna stop here because I think you got the idea. And the second thing was, I'd like Ricardo to talk about this, was the idea of, you know, if he used to be in a more alternative community and now it's in a business as tradition, as it is. So we are seeds in these places. There's nothing wrong about it. There's nothing slow about it. We are just amazing seeds. And the idea is that Mel and Roberto, and then he's going to talk about, Isa gave this idea of is really creating conferences, creating big things where whatever we're doing, it becomes a model to others. So I will stop here because just to get the idea.
Okay, so in our group, Isabella brought the project of going a local entrepreneur forum nationally in Brazil, and we all could help. And like she said, Melissa would be the host. And as I am working now for a private company, publicly listed and stock exchange, and we are 3,000 employees. And I was about to ask Melissa, and we set up a meeting for tomorrow, I think, if she is willing to help me with the project of using this 3,000 people community to do the fluxonomy and do also something very similar, but for the regenerative dream it could be a small project. It could be a project outside of the company, or it could be just innovation in a process that could have positive impact. So any project could be funded and mentored by its own employees, and also we can ask for a match from the shareholders. So that's a small project that is born now. It's been born. We are just in the oven. So that's something I like to discuss with Melissa tomorrow, and hopefully she will accept my invitation to be my consultant.
And also we can also, since we have a TV that now is not only in Brasilia, but in different places, and also on the internet, we could use the TV to spread what's going on and to follow, step by step, how this project can bring about a big change in society. So we can use several cases like the one Melissa just described, but also your new case that's about to start. And this can be a seed so that this new experience of economy reaches many more people.
Great, thank you.
I think that was it for our group. Thank you.
Yeah, we just have one more group, group 5, Juliana, Roseres, Anne, and Roberto. Somebody like to speak for group 5?
Okay, I can start if you want. In English or maybe Spanish, because we spoke in Spanish, so it will be, is it okay if I speak, or is it better in English?
If you want to speak in Spanish, let me see, I'll...
No, okay, I can try in English.
No, that's totally fine.
The only...
So Francisca is going to be doing Spanish to English translation. So if you want to listen in English, you can go on the English channel.
So what is?
So you can speak in Spanish and
Okay.
Fran will translate.
Bueno, solo éramos tres.
So it's just three of us. So the first question, the response is quite concise for the three of us. We spoke a lot about trust as the basis of the economy, creating connections for alternative relationships. And when we strengthen the trust in a group or a network, a community, this allows us to deepen collaboration and also strengthens again trust. There's new issues of challenges and difficulties. So it's a permanent iteration. So important to deepen trust, and so there's different types of trust. So also how we can reestablish trust when it is broken, what kind of tools, sociocracy, group intelligence, and other tools that we practice a lot in transition, and spaces for reciprocal knowledge between people and communities.
Preparando el suelo, como ya se ha dicho, para que
To
resulte
repair the soil, to be fertile, and to create ecological things from soil to compost.
Nuestra humildad.
She's eating too fast, I can't keep up.
Estar en una ayuda recíproca para tomar las
Be mutually beneficial and helping each other in case of difficult situations, to be able to support each other. Also ritual spaces like in Mexico, the medicine of listening, and others that I suppose you may know about, because they're the basis of many courses to connect at higher levels. And also about our experiences, Juliana has, I don't know if you would like to speak, Juliana? About the support for sustainability. Basically, I support creative entrepreneurs to have financial sustainability, because most of them are not that sustainable. So there's a process of diversification. And for all these creative people, they had this impulse to be creative. So it's a really great experience. And Robert? I share the experience of a local market that we've established recently in the northern area of Mexico City. The idea is to bring together our energy and people involved with a local currency.
La confianza, como se decía,
and generate trust in a very particular area of Mexico City, where we're in the poorest area of the city.
el enfoque es hacia la
And
industria,
practically all of it's all commerce and industry. There's Walmart and other enormous international conglomerations. So the economy, local economy, is very affected by this. So what we're doing is working to connect and find a local alternative for people.
De comercio, de trabajo de dependientes y pues sí que pueda llegar
Many of them have a job where they are dependent, and this way they can have a more fair exchange.
Y por mi parte mencioné mi experiencia más fundamental, más
Also, I
eficaz
shared my most revolutionary experience to change paradigm in transition economy and cultural, which is a free currency in France and in other places that is completely independent of the state, of the official currency, and is actually the contrary of the official currency, which is unfair, unjust. So we create it, and each member has basic income, and this is transforming our exchanges in an extraordinary way. People are savoring natural abundance and creating trust, experimenting together the world of tomorrow, which is something I've already experimented in the transition movement, preparing the future for the future. So for the currency, which seemed totally prohibited and inaccessible, has been very promising.
All right, thank you so much. A lot of great sharing here. We are coming down to our time. So we only have about 2 minutes left. So I'm gonna turn it back over to Monica for a checkout, and I think maybe a little photo opportunity here.
Yeah, thank you, Dawn. Yes, I'm very happy to be here and to have this opportunity to have you all here.
Gracias, Dawn. Estoy feliz de esta oportunidad y tenerlos a todos aquí.
Together. And what I want to ask you is just to
do our
checkout. What
en el checkout,
how was it for you? How was this experience for you? And please, if you can put on the chat,
si lo pueden
or
poner
if somebody want to say.
O si alguien lo quiere decir, también bienvenido.
Oh, Fran, I think your audio is still in the main room. You might need to click on something.
Yes.
I think we're good.
Okay. Okay, so it's up to you.
Well, I love the experience. It was very, very excited for me. Thank you so much to be here with you guys together. Thank you, Jay, for all the support in all this process.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for inviting me. I hope it just occurred to me as we were going along that maybe I missed the brief and I should have talked more about Reconomy in general than the workshop. I thought you would be interested in the workshop. Anyway, I hope it was interesting, and thanks for inviting me. Good luck with whatever you do next.
So Monica, did we want to get a photograph of everybody here together? You're on mute.
Yes, can I take it? A photograph? So be happy there. Look happy, please. Great, amazing.
Isa, cadê você, Isa?
Amazing.
Aí, Aissa, na hora da foto, outra foto.
No, I'm wearing a mask. I'm going to put the image.
Okay. Great, people. Thank you very much for this, for all this experience. It was great to be here with you. So I think we are going to keep in touch. I hope we have more opportunities. I'm sure we will. And yeah, let's keep in touch and have fun together again.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
People. Kisses.
Muchas gracias.
Mônica.
Gracias, Anaí.
Abraços a
Good time.
todos.
Linda, Mel.